GM, GM. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is another Friday, which means another episode of Wonky Weekly Alpha. This is the 57th consecutive episode. We've hosted that's 57 consecutive weeks of showing up each and every day, getting in here, and keeping the vibes going. So we're at it again, man. Rooster, what's going on? 80s, what's going on? Welcome back. How are we doing today?
GM, I'm doing real well. I see you noticed that ribbon I picked up last night. Another
Oh yeah,
grail in the bag.
we eat ribbon. We love it. You got to pin that ribbon up there.
GM, gentlemen, ladies, legends and icons.
GM, sir. It's funny. Yesterday, I tweeted this out, but I was thinking about it. So I think I've talked a couple times about where I first noticed GMs popping up on the timeline. They weren't really that popular the last bear market, but there was like one small group of guys that I did it with. But the thing that was super popular throughout the last bear market into the beginning of phases of the next bull market that kind of faded away, surprisingly, was the FFs. So FFs were a way that people basically, I mean, it wasn't GM, but it was kind of GM before GM. Everybody would spam FFs on the timeline. It's like follow Fridays. Every single Friday, you would pick a few people that you would end up shouting out for one reason or another. And odds are a lot of people would just pick big accounts because it was interaction with the big accounts and it led toward them getting more interaction on their accounts. And like, even though so you'd have like this guy with like 200 followers saying "FF Crypto Kaleo," like all 200 of my followers go follow this dude because of XYZ Alpha. So really, it was like a backhanded simp compliment, but it was also kind of badass, cool, whatever too. And then you'd get some, you would get some alpha drops in the meantime too. You'd have some people that would drop whoever, and, point being, it was like a more specific way of sharing the love than what you have with just like the general GM. And I feel like it completely disappeared. I don't know. Am I wrong? Have you guys seen FFs in a while?
I haven't seen FF since I.
You haven't seen FFs so long that they rugged you whenever you tried to, time that you saw FFs. Yeah, it's that bad, man. They still won't let you talk. Rooster, what about you, man? That looks like a new PA also, is it?
Yeah, I picked this one up about 2 months or so ago. Had to join Red Zip. Um, Actually ended up picking up another PA yesterday, but kind of got scammed. So I guess there's an exploit in the waiting period for OpenSea after transfers, um, for like accepting WETH offers. If you bundle a regular buy with a WETH offer, like being exploited by like a MEV bot, it bypasses the wait period essentially. So, anyway, I bid on like rare traits. Dude like new dawned it and like changed the traits and then sent it back over and then listed it. And then it immediately got picked up by a Mev bot, and sold to the bot and then sold to me within the same block. So a little bit irritating on that end.
That is frustrating. Well, hey, one way or the other, sounds like your guy was meant to be. He's with you now.
No,
Um,
this one I got before. The other one that I got yesterday
oh, that was the one
was
from
like,
yesterday that ended up happening. Damn.
yeah, no, yeah, they changed the traits, then sent it back and listed it, and then I guess uh, I don't know if they did it purposely or if like it was just a Mev bot that found it within 5 seconds. The bot ended up profiting like 0.005 Ethereum, so like $7. And I bought a floor about 75% above floor.
Rip. I mean, hey, could have been a lot worse, man. It could have been a lot worse. I've heard stories where a lot of the times you'll hear somebody will be like, "Oh yeah, I bought it 7.5 times higher than whatever it was." So glad that glad it wasn't worse than what it could have been. But I appreciate you sharing that with us. Um, 80s, you'll be proud of me, man. So I'm on day number. Let's see. Okay, I guess it started Tuesday. I'm on like day number 1, 2, 3, 4 of my diet right now. So
I love to hear it.
and I've actually been really consistent with it. So I've had two opportunities this week where I had like two different Bible study things. One that I lead for the high schoolers with Young Life. Another that I'm just participating in. Both of them happen to have birthdays this week, I guess. So for the first one, people brought these crumble cookies, which I don't know if you've heard of those
Fire,
before.
absolute
They're
fire.
fire. Yeah, absolute fire. They brought those in drumsticks. And that was, day number one of the diet. And it was just this pivotal moment where I was like, okay, if I could say no, I can roll it over to other no's, right? So then yesterday, I show up to this Young Life thing, and it's somebody else's birthday, apparently. And somebody brought these fire cupcakes and cake balls. And same thing, was able to say no again. So I've kept it under 3,000 calories a day, which I know for a lot of people doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, it's huge. And I've kept it to like pretty much all healthy food throughout the entire period. So I'm telling you, slowly but surely, for those of you who have not seen Rooster, Rooster is jacked. I am going to become Rooster. Like that is the ultimate goal.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Oh shit. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Kaleo, dude's a 4'3" Asian guy actually. Super surprising. I was not expecting that.
I mean, hey, God made us all differently, and it's okay to strive for a diet to make you a little bit taller and a little bit more handsome. And that's the end goal of all this. I really think that if I can just keep myself in check here for at least the next few weeks, maybe I'll like barely eclipse 5 foot. I don't know. It won't quite be up to the Roosters, 6'6", 215-pound chiseled Chad self. But I mean, like, I will be on the way, and that'll be enough for me.
I've actually been on a diet recently too, since getting back from Texas. But it's been a chorizo diet. Um, Ever since I got that taste of some good old Texas chorizo, I pretty much have had chorizo every day since then. So
Bro, Rooster
inverse
the
effect
same,
on that
bro.
diet.
I've been such a fat piece of shit since we got back from Austin, bro, all week long. But starting Monday, I'm doing a 45-day challenge because I got 45 days starting Monday till I go to Peru, and we are going to do some heavy lifting here, baby.
Sheesh.
All right, 80s, we'll do an abs competition. Um, Whoever, and you've seen me, bro, you know that I don't have abs.
I'm gonna have to add another 100 days onto my 45 to get any kind of abs going.
Oh, come on, man. You're closer to it than I am. It's gonna take a hell of a lot of work to get there in 45 days for me. But hey, that is actually the ultimate goal. I'm not even joking. 45 days for me is around like what my ultimate goal is to get back to that point. So we'll see. I think like, enough discipline and enough of you guys giving me shit each Friday, checking in on me should get me there. Because there was this point, y'all, you don't even understand. Whenever we talk about the community, the vibes, or whatever else with this crew, like there was a point earlier this year, whatever, actually it was last year, I was telling 80s about like this goal to get back in shape. 80s DM me like every other day for a couple of weeks and was just like, bro, are you in the gym? Are you doing something? Are you in the gym? And eventually I was like, no, man, I am not in the gym. I'm not going to the gym. And like when I go to the gym, it'll be on my time and I'll let you know when I go to the gym. His accountability was incredible, but he will, like, if you say, hey, bro, keep me accountable, he'll do it for better or for worse. And that's what a good friend does.
It's all love, baby. That's why, man. We got to hold each other accountable.
Oh man. So hey, let's see what all is going on in the world. 80s. Tell me a little bit more about your PFP because that is a new one that I haven't seen you rock so far.
Yeah, man, it's actually the first PFP I've changed since 8 months. My Peru picture. It's Chronic Youth. It's a little organization. They're getting ready to drop an NFT project here soon. It's based around plant medicine. It's based around good vibes and people coming together to educate one another. The whole main ethos of it is healing with plant medicine and having an actual organization that can come in and like educate people the right way. So they gave me an honorary PFP, man. I never had anybody do that shit before, and I'm just absolutely stoked about it. And it's like a mini version of me. It is a true 80s baby.
Let's go, dude. That's awesome. So did you just come across them by, via your network of, people with that, like showing up into their spaces, or how exactly did you make that connection?
Well, it's about building bridges, and that's what we've been doing with Room 110 for a long time, and just meeting people here and there in the space, and just making connections, because that's what the main part of this, all of this is just that connection sharing. And I believe I was hooked up with them, maybe with B-Ways. I'm not too sure. Somebody hooked me up with Microdose Megan, and we just kind of hit it off. And she actually came down here to Tampa, and I got a chance to meet with her, have some lunch with her, and it's just a really good vibe, man. So keeping that connection going.
That's badass, man. Well, I do love the honorary, and you, if anybody's deserving of one, it is you. So congratulations on that, man. Love to see it. All right, we got a couple other people on stage. Haven't kicked it over to yet. Big Bold Bull, it's been a minute, man. I feel like the last time we had you up here, it was on your campaign to glory that you nearly achieved in the last poker tourney.
Yeah. Yeah, I busted out, unfortunately, a little early, but no, man, it's been a busy couple months for me. I get to play that poker tourney kind of on my phone in a corner at work while my boss glared at me. So no, it's been a crazy couple months over here. I haven't been around as often, but I got off today early. We got a pending snowstorm, so everybody's kind of hunkering down. Yeah, just taking it all in, man. Just glad to be able to get up here and join the vibes.
So pending snowstorm, I don't know what part of the country you're in. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Have you been already just completely flooded in snow recently, or is it something that you're looking forward to?
It has.
You can't tell he's from Canada, bro.
Oh yeah, it's. I'm in Newfoundland, so it's. My part of the island hasn't been too bad this winter. It's only been 5 or 6 snowstorms. Don't get me wrong, we've had our fair share in the last few years. A couple years ago, we had, I don't know, it was like 2 feet of snow in 48 hours. Like you just snowboard from my house down the street. Yeah, no, I think we're getting 50 centimeters over the next, I don't know, 24 hours or so. So it'll be, anyway, just a case of beer and a pack of darts and some joints and and chill out with you fine folks and stay warm with my dog.
Did you just say a pack of darts?
Oh yeah, a pack of cigarettes. Yeah.
Such a newfie thing to say.
That's awesome, man. My
Thing to
buddy
say.
over here calls them darts too, or he calls them the heaters. Got that heater.
I freaking love it, man. Yeah, dude, I forgot that you were a newfie. So, I mean, it has to be a decent size. I mean, 1.5 feet isn't anything to laugh about. I did my quick head math on the centimeter conversion. I mean,
That's what I couldn't get past the centimeters, bro.
Well, I saw you cracking up, Rooster. That's why I had to do the quick conversion for you. 2.54 centimeters per inch, bro. It's easy. So yeah, man, like I love that though, because I feel like for you, big, like, what does it have to be for you guys to get off work early in somewhere like Newman? Like, it's got to be at least over a foot, right?
Yeah, it's usually. I mean, parents these days are a lot more concerned about their kids than probably my generation. It was like suck it up and go to fucking school. So now we get kind of closures when we get these big blizzard forecasts ahead of time. It used to be, well, we'd have to wait till whiteout period before we'll send a school bus for you. So. So like the government and all that stuff shut down at 2:00 today, which is very abnormal because not a flake is fallen yet. So we've definitely softened up in the last couple of years. Put it that way.
No, I feel that, man. My dad told me when he was growing up, and he spent a couple years in Calgary, he had to hike to school 2 miles in the snow uphill both ways, and he just told me it was normal.
2, I thought it was like 200.
It added up to that after X amount of time. But, like that was always the story I've been told. I trust my dad. And so I just expected that was every Canadian's experience.
Well, funny enough, like absolutely legit. Like my mom, when she would be brought to school in the winter, it would be on a sleigh with a horse. So and would have to haul wood to bring it to the school. And that's like not even a lie. And I'm not even that old.
Bro, that's incredible. Actually, I'm not even joking. My grandma was born in a log cabin up outside of Calgary. So fun fact. Fun fact.
The Kaleo origin story.
The Kaleo origin story. And actually, I'm not going to say which river, but then my grandpa, born somewhere else in the States, the one that married that grandma, was born on the banks of a river. I'm not even shitting you. They lived in a tent like banks of a river. So fun fact. That was one side of the family, they came together and just meant to be. So
amazing.
Different times.
Yeah.
So if you're in the audience, you may be wondering, how does this all relate to NFTs? So I'm going to let Crow go ahead and bring that in for us.
This is NFTs.
I mean, I'm sorry, I mispronounced his name. I'm going to let 7 rocket emojis .eth bring this in for us.
Utility.
Okay, that's it. That's all you needed to know. Like, if you don't get it, you don't get it.
Just wanted to do a quick posture check for everybody. And I'm looking at you, T. T, I'm looking at you, T.
Yo, Crow, I'm not even lying. I'm wearing my posture correcting little back thing right now. So it's it's already got me covered. And today, as soon as this space is over, I'm heading to the gym. I've got back and buys. So that's on the agenda right up after this.
I'm going for a forehanded massage after this. Treat myself nice.
So I meet Kaleo in Austin, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Your posture is really bad. You need to put your head up and your chest out.
Just accountability, bro. Accountability. I mean, once you put the team on your back for so long, it gets difficult.
Especially being a 4-foot Asian man.
I don't know. I mean, you're 4'3". You got to give me credit, bro.
My bad.
Bro, yeah, he like just barely passes that line at the amusement park where it says you can and can't ride the rides. The bigger ones, no go, but like 80% of the rides he's cool on.
And, the other thing I've got to throw out here, what does my ethnicity have anything to do with any of this? What does it matter?
I picture like a Mr. Miyagi figure. Like, I don't know about anybody else.
I can ride with that. I actually think that's pretty close. You know, like maybe Mr. Miyagi just when he was, 30, 40 years younger.
So on some actual weekly alpha, because I haven't paid
Dude,
too close attention. Let me be the what about Bitcoin guy, Kaleo?
what about Bitcoin guy? What
Yeah, the
about
guy
him?
that always
Like,
comes up and says, "Where's Bitcoin going?"
oh, yeah, the dude that just steps on the space like that's all. I don't know where he is. But hey, dude. Here's my deal with Bitcoin anything right now. I really just think that we're chopping at the top of this range, whether it takes like a few days or a week or whatever it is before it finally breaks out above it. And, hey, there are going to be people, even if it comes off this a little bit and it dips back down to 25, you're going to have people that are so freaking bearish, it's not even funny on the timeline. I really don't think that that's an invalidation of where we are whatsoever. So I could see even a little bit of a pull off from where we are right now before, that reclaim and send. But we're going to send one way or the other. So I really see it just as an opportunity where, like everything that you have right now, I think is really the last opportunity that you're going to get here over the next couple of weeks before we send above 30K, at least for a minute. Because I really am a huge believer that 30 to 40 is going to be a quick climb. And it is funny, though, every single day that we spend here, there are less and less people that agree with that type of, you know, sentiment, I guess you could say. And so, yeah, like I still have pretty high conviction in it. And, honestly, it would take, like, if we dip back down maybe beneath 24 or so, I would ask, okay, maybe is there something going on like differently? But I don't know. I'm pretty confident with where we are.
Yeah, I started seeing some doom on the timeline and in the chats recently. You see people calling for sub 20s. I see people calling for NFTs to zero because they saw really no relief bounce on this pump. And, dumping from here would just, be further pain. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting, the different narratives.
Bro, I really think a lot of it comes back to this too. I mean, and we talked about this the other week in the spaces. I mean, for everything, it just comes back to survival still. I mean, look at where, that little baby mini pump that we had in January, the end of December through January in the NFT marketplace, right? Uh, it uh it was about a month long of pretty decent price action across the board. And like it didn't take much to move the market in that type of scenario. NFTs will have another incredibly bullish season coming up. I'm a huge believer of that. If it's not this year, hey, give it another year, right? Like, but for a lot of people, that type of time frame is an eternity, right? Like, we have so many people that are in this space that are just accustomed to instant gratification. And if they don't see any type of instant gratification as far as price action or anything else is concerned, then they're out. They're done. But I mean, look at it from the perspective of a lot of utility projects with the way they've set themselves up. There are a lot of projects out there that are these utility projects that have put themselves on this platform where their holders expect X type of events and X type of whatever else. And realistically, what they're promising in that, like it, as much as people say, oh, Web3 is like this different type of freedom than Web2, they're realistically structuring like a Web2 club more than anything else. And at the end of the day, 99% of them are going to let everybody down, and they're not going to be able to have the inflow of cash to be able to, keep up with that type of burn rate. So what does that mean? You know, expectations aren't being met and people are disappointed, they go down. So like the thing is, I mean, that's how projects die, is setting expectations that aren't sustainable. So I really think that it's all about sustainability still for the next year or so. And dude, that's why I'm so confident with like the stonks and where we are. You look at like what happened throughout the course of the last year, right? We vibed throughout the bear market. We had a nice little run with everybody else. And honestly, dude, we've still maintained really well right now throughout the course, considering how a lot of other similar type projects pumped and fell off. So regardless of whatever happens the course of the next year, it is what it is. I still see it as an opportunity for everybody to continue to stack those high conviction plays because, again, whenever the market really takes up for NFTs again, and it's not just 1 month of whatever, but it's multiple months consecutively adding on top of each other, that's where the real opportunity is. And it's just about surviving until then. Jesus, Crypto Jesus, welcome up to the stage, my man. How are you doing
I'm
today?
doing well. How are you, Kaleo? Thanks for having me up.
I'm doing well, man.
What up, Wonky fam? Yo, I got a hot take on this. So, I think the market this time around is a lot more event driven because you have a huge set of people globally that are using crypto fundamentally as a replacement for their local financial infrastructure. Like your El Salvadors, your Lebanons, Nigerias, the Philippines, Venezuela, Vietnams of the world, etc. Now, these audiences are growing even in the bear market, and they're growing still fairly exponentially. Now, the reality is the average GDP per capita for users in this market is pretty low. It's in the few $1,000 range, if even that. So these people obviously can't really afford to buy NFTs. So you have an interesting layer of support for the price of your major tokens, your Bitcoin and your Ethereum, because people are just fundamentally using it in replacement of their local financial infrastructure. But you don't really have that support with NFTs. It's really a speculator's market because the main value proposition at the moment is community. There are very few NFTs aside from like ENS and the Wonky fam over here that have any utility at all. So, in my opinion, I think everyone kind of thinks we're going to be heading towards a recession. And that means we'll likely see more turmoil in these third world countries and more people being pushed towards crypto. But I don't really see many of those people going to NFTs unless we all of a sudden start seeing NFTs that have a lot of utility and NFTs that are a lot more affordable on layer twos. So I think the NFT market's going to get hit pretty bad.
Yeah, hey, I'm at the point where I don't disagree with you, man. Like, I think it's one of those things where, again, it's consolidation still within the market. I mean, you know, like we don't have many cycles to realistically look through in the NFT market to say, hey, well, this is what happened 4 years ago, so this is what to expect now. So the best that we can do is look at what we have seen and, similar markets and how they've behaved. So I look at last summer, for instance, right? Last summer, after the other side drop, the NFT marketplace just took a shit, right? Projects were selling off left and right. There was nothing really rallying. And, I look at the Pudgy Penguins just as an example, and the Pudgy Penguins were down at this level where they just kind of maintained and they chugged along, and they just kind of stayed flat and then slowly started to grind higher. And it took a lot of time, and there was a lot of volatility in the meantime, too, right? It wasn't like this straight, line up. They had different little pumps, cooled off, different little pump, cooled off, and it took a lot of time. And then eventually, took months and months and months of kind of building through this. You just saw them take off. And then next thing you know, like they were one of the biggest talks of the NFT space, but it didn't happen overnight. There were a lot of people that didn't believe in that process throughout it. And it wasn't every single other project that rallied around them, right? There were a lot of projects that were, these quote unquote blue chips, they flipped along the way. So I still think that we're going to see that throughout the course of this year, where you'll have opportunity in a few select projects. And, hey, if anybody knew exactly what they're going to be, you'd be a rich man. But hey, I really think there will be some outliers that have that opportunity to be able to accumulate, to be able to do whatever, to be able to survive and become those type of names down the road for the next type of thing, for what Pudgy's did. But, along that process, there are going to be tons of tombstones.
Yeah, and I think those outliers are going to be the ones that build the best communities on Twitter. Because when we look at these platforms right now, you take a look at Discord, all these individual communities are consolidated. They're completely isolated from each other. There's no consolidated feed. So, you lose 90% of your human capital. These Discords, relatively speaking, have become ghost towns, and everything is consolidated more or less on Twitter. So whatever entities can build the best communities on Twitter, and what Pudgy has done extremely well is not only have they built amazing community on Twitter, but they've been able to pull a lot of people over from other platforms like Instagram and TikTok, etc. That a lot of these other NFT communities haven't really been able to enter these markets at all. But it's going to be interesting to see which groups really are able to keep an active community on Discord and continue to pull in new liquidity into their ecosystem.
I got a little take on this. I think it's a multi-spectrum, right? Currently as it sits, you have to understand we are in a casino for the most part. There are plays with, higher EV than others, quote unquote blue chips, smarter, longer term investments, right? And I think it's going to be like, in a bear market sense, it's going to be more of a luxurious item. Like you said, we're not going to see the third world countries using NFTs. The most value I've received from it already is the networking and the connections with community. Like you said, the highest value proposition.
That's the real utility. I mean, right there is the connections and the networking, 100%.
Oh, and I would gladly have invested like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much money as I have into NFTs and been completely rugged of it all to get to where I am right now. Like the connections are impeccable, right? It's going to be for people. There are going to be 2 sides to the market, right? There's still going to be your gamblers who are trying to, just make it big on that one NFT, right? That's going to make up for all the losses. And then there's going to be people more focused on the community side who are going to be using funds and going to in real life meetups, doing things within the community. And so there are definitely fewer strong projects to look at in sense of that. And that's, I'm a little baked right now. So the thoughts are jumbled, but that's essentially what I think how it's going to play out.
Hey, speaking of in real life meetups, there's a NFT Philly event on Sunday. I know there's a bunch of Wonky members from the area, so get with me. I'm planning to go. It's Sunday afternoon at a brewery, so hit me up.
Bro, I'm looking down at the crowd and I see Johnny Solana in the crowd. I feel like Johnny Solana is a Philly guy. I don't know why. He just like if anybody is going to be a Philly guy in this crowd, it's got to be Johnny Solana.
Facts. Hey, are any of you going to NYC for the NFT? Rooster, Kaleo?
He's throwing up the hearts. I think you're right, Kaleo.
If I actually am right, that's incredible. But okay, I nailed it. Johnny Solana is a Philly dude. But NFT NYC, bro. Like I'm just not a big NFT NYC guy. I'm not a big New York City person in general, but I kind of wish, looking at it, that I would have gone to NFT LA. Looks like there was a lot of, but the sad thing is I didn't even really know NFT LA was happening until I saw it pop up in my timeline. That's embarrassing, but it's true. And hey, we just had the South by Southwest stuff, so stop by there, and NFT LA would have been a lot, but no NFT NYC. Definitely want to plan on Basel later this year. I think that doing something else for that this year would be cool. So because I'm thinking about Basel, I'm really debating do I want to go to the Bitcoin conference in May? That was something I've been thinking about doing coming up here. Not positive because, from the past several years, 2 trips to Miami a year feels like 1 trip too many. So, I know some of y'all young guns can handle it. I can't keep pace. So, debating that one right now.
I love how you treat yourself like you're a 55-year-old man. It's hilarious.
Bro, he's a
Hey,
70-year-old
nobody
Asian
in here
guy with a
knows.
long mustache.
For all they know, I'm Mr. Miyagi, bro. Don't ruin the image. Crow, so tell me more about this Philly meetup. What all are they doing what do you do at an NFT Philly meetup?
I'm like, hey, my name is Crow. Have you heard that I have 7 rocket emojis.eth? And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I got 7 rocket emojis. And they ask me all kinds of questions, and I do my best to answer them all. It's just a room full of NFT people, which is great, right? You don't have to explain yourself why you're so bullish on the technology. Like, everybody's already there, so you're just kind of, getting into the details a little more. And this is a way to connect. They've been doing it for a while. Barman is his name. He's an ape. We're just getting down, having a couple beers, and sharing war stories.
Yo, Crow, what time is it at on Sunday?
It's pretty early.
Lander just said it's
me a
1 to
DM.
5.
I'll send it to you. It's like in the afternoon.
Okay. All right. I'm a Philly guy. I know Lander is too, so maybe I'll pull up.
Yeah, we can have a little mini, little stonk meetup.
All right, be honest. So I've never been to Philly once. Is Philly a place worth visiting?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Clay.
It's America's birth capital, baby.
Yeah, I think it's actually super underrated.
Even if you just get a
pretty
cheesesteak,
bad
it's
flack,
fine.
but yeah, it's worth
Have
it.
you always seen Have you ever seen Always Sunny?
Yeah, of course, man.
No, I'm asking Kaleo because the night I spent in Philly was pretty similar to any one of those episodes.
Always Sunny. I never binge watched it, but it was always something that I just you flip through the channels, you leave it on, and yeah, like I'd have it on in the background. So I'm a little bit familiar with Always Sunny.
Yeah, that was my experience. Definitely probably could have went a different route, but I was only there for like 16 hours, I believe, driving through.
Bro, I'll tell you what I want to do. I would love to do just a road trip across the states. I think that would be a ton of fun.
Dude, let's rent an RV, bro.
Yeah, get a wonky bus.
Here's I'm going to just go ahead and pull out the stop sign right now on that idea. Anytime I've seen any type of crypto bus type events, they are always immediately turned into some type of cult. And not saying that we would get there, right? Like, not pushing that idea, but I'm just saying the outside perspective usually doesn't reflect maybe it does reflect what's actually going on one way or the other. Just too many. I think what killed it for me as far as any type of thing associated with that was the whole Litecoin bus back in the day. I think it was a Litecoin bus where they had Miss Teen Crypto, and there was that one super creepy old dude that was with this 16-year-old girl, just like traveling across the country. Lord knows who let this girl travel with these 40, 50, year old men across the country, but the way that he was all over her was just no. And I'm obviously not saying any of that would ever happen, but it just kills the idea of anything crypto related with a bus for me. There are a couple other instances that I've seen of crypto related, bus, whatever. It just is like, for some reason, it never works out. anything other than a bus. I'm down for an old, okay, like what is it, an old hatchback or something? Like I like anything other than just a bus.
That'd be a little tight. What about a van?
I mean, a van still. I don't know, man. All of it
That's
just
creepy as fuck driving around in a van,
yeah,
right?
Roosters. I don't know if I can ride with any of it. Maybe a caravan.
But anyhow, that's one of the great things about this is that wherever we travel, like we're gonna have some wonky friends there. It's really a beautiful thing. So the community is the utility.
That's really all about it. I mean, like most of the deliverables, anyways, are a lot of like IRL things within the community. Other than like extra pieces of collection that you get airdropped, right? But is that really utility? Um, and yeah, so that's where I'm putting my money. Like I'm rotating back into pandas. I don't know. Ice Bag's just an animal. And dude does deserve a ton of credit, and they do a lot of in real life stuff, and I'm all about that. I've had the best times meeting up with all the wonky people, both in Miami and in Texas, and I'm going to continue to do so. So community is the utility, buying the community.
I feel like that's a good spot to go ahead and mic drop for the day. um, I apologize, Rooster. I've got to get to the gym. I've got to stay steady and consistent with this. I really want to be like you one day. And
yeah, I got a gym too because I got to get even bigger now. So,
but thank God none of us are like Crow. That would be awful. Crow, not to say that you can, I believe that you can lose that weight. And we are not fat phobic in this community. We are accepting. Just let you know, brother, you've got some work to do.
When you got to walk into the
Stand
door
up straight.
sideways.
All right, love you, man. Hey guys, if you've met Crow, you know I'm messing around. Crow actually legit was the most jacked, fitness buff that I met this last week.
Bro,
So,
7:30 in the morning, he's doing 100 push-ups. Mad props to him, bro. I couldn't do it. I was still crawling on the floor drunk.
I was just trying to beat back the headache.
but anyway, yeah, no, until this next week, you guys take it easy. Enjoyed this as always. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, fellas. And ladies in the crowd as well. So I will catch you guys later.
See ya.